right, everyone, welcome to another serving of Nerd Takeout. I want to apologize. So I don't know what happened last week with the audio. I really don't have an answer for that. So I want to apologize about all I think 8 people that watched it on YouTube. I don't know, whatever. So this week, I say that's not going to happen, but I've looked it over. We figured it out. So hopefully that won't be an issue, and I want to apologize for that. So anyway,
we're sorry.
And what's Japanese for sorry, Neil?
Arigato.
That's thank you. It's sumimasen.
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 Sumimasen and
Sumimasen, everyone.
Yeah.
And arigato for being so understanding. Did I say that right? Did I conjugate that properly?
Yeah, it sounded good.
Conjugated.
Anyways,
one of the romance languages.
America.
All right, guys, and I'm Josh Carley. With me is John Michael Carley, Andrew Green,
Yo, what up?
and Neil Porsche.
Sumimasen.
Yeah, whatever.
What does that mean?
That's sorry.
I'm sorry you have to listen to this right now.
Means my Pokemon is stronger than your Pokemon. Is that bad? Is that racist?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, let's keep going.
Anyways, okay. So we want to thank you guys for listening and for putting up with last week's podcast. I know some of you listened anyway. So this week we're going to be talking about The Walking Dead. We've dedicated the entire episode to it. Before the break, we're going to just kind of discuss, I guess, what our feelings on the show are, what we thought about season 2. I actually just finished it,
Or season 1, who knows?
Yeah, or season 1.
I guess just Walking Dead.
Walking Dead.
It's not the finale.
Everything that's not, or the premiere.
Or zombies in general.
Yes. We're going to talk a little bit about, I think we've only played up to episode 1 of the game. We're just going to talk about that. I know Andrew's read through a lot of the comics, so I kind of want to get his opinions on stuff. Maybe you'll actually hear him speak this podcast, so I'm looking forward to that.
He's going to do it all in a Bane voice.
There, that's it. That's it.
Maybe.
You can do it in a melodramatic voice, like the action of the show. We'll talk about. We'll talk about.
So many things.
Probably look. Lot of fun to be had with B movie, with B melodramas. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a second. Anyways, before we get into that, again, we want to thank y'all. We want to thank Garrett Landry for obviously the logo. Yeah. And before we get started, let's start with I guess Neil. Anything you've seen?
So
played?
I've seen up to season 4.
No, but what are you doing this week?
Of Breaking Bad.
Wow!
Really?
So I watched all of it like I said I would last podcast.
Yeah.
Wow, you kept that one under the rug.
So I watched all of it, and I don't even know when I'll be able to talk about that with YouTube because I don't want to spoil anything for John Michael because you haven't seen.
I've seen.
He's seen all of it.
I just haven't seen.
He's
caught up.
We're gonna need to do that soon. So
yeah.
I will definitely catch up. But I really like that show, and even though I don't watch, literally, I watch nothing but all my shows in Japanese, and I was like, well, I'm gonna watch Breaking Bad because I feel like I need to watch this because people who I generally value their opinion on some things enough to
be ridiculous.
trust
Don't
it.
value anyone's opinion.
No,
Did you watch Breaking Bad in Japanese?
But no. I've actually
Just a rule.
It would be awesome. But literally, I've got to.
Just a pushman to me.
Y'all are all caught up though.
Yeah.
Okay.
All through season 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna watch and finish season 4. But that show's just really good. Like they were really. I wrote down a lot of stuff that I want to talk about, but there were very specific things about why that show's good. But yeah, so I watched a lot of Breaking Bad, and other than that, nothing really that I've done because
it tends to have that effect.
I try to watch if I watch an episode of Breaking Bad, I tried to watch an episode of a Japanese drama. So there was
it balanced out.
A shit ton of watching TV apparently in between doing everything else. But it kept my attention. I don't know.
No games or anything.
It's impossible for me to play games while I'm doing all of that. I guess the only other thing I did was I played the first few hours of the Walking Dead game. Mm-hmm. I played is it Little Wars or what the hell it's called? There's like a free to play Xbox game now that they actually put on their system. It's like League of Legends type of it's okay. Other than that though,
it's free.
Yeah, it's free. No, nothing. Not a thing.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Drew.
I'll go. I haven't been doing much either. I've been playing Borderlands 2, of course, but mostly all this last week I've been watching Angry Video Game Nerd on YouTube. Pretty much caught up with all of that. That's really it. I watched the Walking Dead season premiere.
Oh, conveniently enough, that's what we're talking about.
Hey, how about that?
I've been playing Pokemon White version 2.
Do you have that battle yet?
What? No, we postponed it because apparently training Pokemon is a lot of work.
I thought this was like in 2 days. Is it not
Yeah,
in 2 days?
it's this Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Evan and I will be battling for honor and dignity.
Gonna live stream that.
We should, man.
We should.
We put a lot of work into this.
Takeout
Live from
special.
Nerd Takeout
Yeah.
HQ.
I know.
God.
It's, live on the scene. But yeah, I've been raising Pokemon and playing the other version, I guess, without so much raising. Just kind of enjoying the storyline on that one.
Pokemon Black and White too.
Yeah,
That's like
yeah.
the same thing, right?
I mean, sort of, basically. It's not too much.
They all pretty much
change.
the same as Red
honestly
and
wanted
Blue.
to play it, like,
The storyline is like two years after the
Yeah,
like.
because the storyline's why I play Pokemon.
It's
games.
really good.
I really did want to play it. Like I was looking at it at work a lot, thinking about like buying it until I realized that I don't even know where I am in Black and White. Like
So
I
you
don't even know. What
realize you
it
hadn't
is.
finished season 4 of Breaking Bad.
Right. Seriously, I just been watching a lot of Breaking Bad.
I watched. I watched Sherlock. Like all of that, which is like 6 episodes. But each episode's like an hour and a half, so it's like
Really? Wow.
Yeah. But that's a really good series, by the way.
Probably
haven't
not
seen
better than
that.
Doctor Who, but sure.
Well, we can fight over it. I've been watching that and Firefly actually.
You've never seen Firefly?
No, it's actually like I've watched it.
Oh, okay. I was making sure.
But like this is my first time to watch it
Oh.
through all the way. Like
Yeah, Firefly's really good.
yeah,
That's also
it's like
8
a
episodes,
it's a really
9,
great
10.
like space
At least,
western.
like, 9,
Like
yeah.
Yeah, like total space.
I've been
western,
told
like,
for
awesome.
years, like Jermichael, you would really like Firefly.
I've
Like,
been
I
wanting to
believe
watch
that.
that.
And why
but
is that
I wanna
opening
watch
theme
that.
song good?
I don't
Like,
know.
because,
It's
I
like
would never listen
for
to
all
that type
intents
of
and purposes,
music.
it shouldn't be
Yeah.
good.
I really like that.
But-
I like everything about that show. Actually,
It's really good. Yeah, I think that's about it. Pokemon and TV shows on Netflix.
I lied. I did go. I saw Perks of Being a Wallflower. as
Oh
well.
yeah,
That's
I
the
saw
thing
that.
I
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
And I'd read the book probably in like 2005 or 6. I think I probably read the
Is
book.
it?
Did you like it?
Came, that's around about when
Yeah,
it came out.
I actually liked it. I
thought it was
liked
really
the
good.
movie. It just made me want to kill myself because that movie's really, really, really depressing. I forgot how depressing. The
Okay,
book
I
was.
was-
You also
books
like
about
you
it.
also like the Hunger Games movie.
Yeah, I don't hate the Hunger Games movie. I think the Hunger Games movie's better than the shitty book. But I mean, that's all.
Well,
yeah.
so for this movie, it was like, it was.
Did you like the book though?
Yeah.
Because I really
I
liked the
really
book.
did like the book, and I know it was published by MTV, but the book
yeah.
was.
Well,
But
the guy that wrote the book, I think,
Did the
actually
screenplay
did the
and direct-
screenplay.
and
Oh,
directed
he
it.
directed it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought that's
So-
what it was. Yeah, I was
yeah.
thinking that too. Yeah, and it felt like
It's very it's very nostalgic in a way.
of
Like
how stupid like how
Yes,
how
it-
horrible it was to be a teenager for a lot of people.
What-
Or just the parts that were really awkward.
What
Yeah,
time did it really well.
What time period does it take
It's
place?
the
in?
90s.
It's the
Yeah,
oh,
it's a
dude.
And that's,
Oh,
that's
man.
why it kind of works because like
Right, right.
I feel like you do have to kind of be have grown up during that time to
Sure, yeah.
appreciate a lot of that because they're it's just like all the stuff that you regret that you said that sounds so stupid when you look back on it.
Yeah.
They do it perfectly in that movie. You knew those people or like you were around those people. Or at
Oh,
least I was around
completely,
those
yeah.
people. And like it's just done really 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 well. And Emma Watson is awesome.
yeah.
So,
I think her being in that movie helped it get made.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
But
definitely. Because
you haven't seen it though.
No, I haven't seen the
there's
movie.
not a lot of
I've seen
other-
it. I read. I
It's
love
at
the
the rave
book.
though. You should see it. Or in Perkinsville.
Perkins Row, yeah.
Can I see it at Gameware? You know, I want to support Gameware.
Oh yeah, support Gameware, but I don't think we have that there. I can pirate it and have it there.
Nice.
I think we're allowed to do that. I'm not sure. By the way, I also want to add one thing. I played Retro City Rampage.
That game is awesome.
It's so
I did actually
hilarious.
play that out loud. That game
That is
awesome.
so funny. That is like every like just so many like pop culture and video game references like just cram packed into this one game.
I only had so much time. I actually texted Steven Martin to ask him whether I was going to play Retro City Rampage first or Tokyo Jungle because I hadn't really had time. And I figured I could just jump into Retro City Rampage easier because I played that at PAX, and I did like it.
It's so,
The
like-
cover system.
So
in
what
that
is this
game.
now?
Okay, so it's like a old school like
It started as a guy. Who
Is
was
it like
mod-
Streets of Rage?
No, it started as a
Aw.
guy who was trying to make a Grand Theft Auto mod, like a game, on NES hardware. Like
Yeah.
he was physically doing it on NES hardware originally, and then it just became this thing.
it's so awesome.
So it looks like top-down Grand Theft Auto, but if it was
It's
done on
a
an
Nintendo,
8-bit. You know
but-
that part in
What's it on? What system?
you can download it on the
Xbox,
marketplace.
PS,
and-
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, it's in Steam. But it looks like the part in Ninja Turtles when you're at the end in the first game when you're driving around in that van.
Mhm, yeah.
That's what
It's
it like
perfect.
kind of like
And the
looks
crappy-
like.
the
It actually
crappy Ninja
has
Turtles
that shitty
one?
van in the game
Yeah.
and stuff too. But they reference Mega Man,
just everything.
In the first like
Obviously-
10 minutes. It's
Yeah, like
hundreds of
Mario,
games.
Sonic, Frogger, anything, Metal Gear Solid. You can
Duck
like,
Hunt.
you can get under boxes and stuff just for no good reason. It doesn't
it's
help you
good.
at all.
It's cool.
You should download
And,
the demo.
like-
It's the demo is very a good representation of the game. Like,
There's,
it does
like-
a really good job.
Yeah, there's like Batman references in there and all kinds of stuff.
So Andrew can buy it.
Yeah,
Absolutely. There was a
It's-
Batman Easter egg in Borderlands 2.
There's like
Spoilers
an
for
Easter
everybody.
egg
It was
for
the-
everything.
I know,
in
it really
Borderlands
is.
2, right? Yeah.
That made my heart so happy.
But yeah, I recommend Retro Secret. It's like $15, but it's totally worth it. It has this awesome arcade feel to it. Like, oh, it's so good. Josh, we're finally at you.
Trying to think. Yeah, I mean, a lot's happened in the past 2 weeks. Let's see.
I've had a child.
Well, I got a
Kind
puppy.
of.
So
You got a
Yeah.
puppy,
Yeah.
yeah.
So in the past 2 weeks, see, car wreck, puppy, ER visits,
But a
lots of
car wreck,
fun.
you do that like every other week.
Yeah,
so
It
it's
feels that way. It's not ever my fault. Me
This
and Andrew-
podcast is a train wreck.
Yeah.
Oh, boom.
Anyways,
How about it?
so let's see. What all did I see? I went and saw Looper. That was all right.
Looper.
It was worth renting. I don't
Everyone
know.
just keeps telling me it had a pretty good cast, and that's usually all they tell me. That was okay.
It was the cast was good. I mean, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is fast becoming one of my favorite actors
In every
working
movie?
right now.
I do like
Yeah.
him.
Like
He's
it's
just,
getting to the point
really
like if
good.
he's in a movie, like him being in a movie automatically makes me more interested to see it. Except for that one where he was on a bike. I did not care to see that one.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
that looked kind of lame.
What was that one?
It's like he's on a bike just going through the
Guys.
city.
Oh,
running
yeah,
from
okay. I know
bad
what you're
guys.
talking about.
That's
I don't,
literally all I got out of the
that's,
trailer.
I don't even remember that. Yeah. I
think
remember
that's
this movie. I don't know what
they
it's
only
called.
made
Or
that
I think
movie
that's
about
like
boy.
that's how he became
But
Robin or
maybe,
something.
but maybe the fact that I even finished the bike trailer was because he was in it. Like if he wasn't on the bike,
It was the prequel to Dark Knight Rises.
maybe.
His character's
Now if Tom
prequel.
Hardy was on the bike, I might have gone and seen this. But
Vroom.
but yeah, I mean,
Pedal faster, little Robin.
but wow, fantastic. So
Four.
yeah, it was okay. It's worth renting. It's a good. I felt. Well, I won't go. It's worth renting. I don't want to go film douche, so I won't go too
No,
deep
no,
into
please,
it.
no, please.
No, it's good.
Film douche away.
It's a time travel movie, and I think that they worked out. They have a very interesting take on the time travel. Like they don't convolute it and try and over explain it, but they do use it. It's a very simple concept, and I feel like they do it pretty effectively in the story.
Unlike Men in Black 3.
Didn't see that.
You're a piece of shit.
I think you're the only one. I think we all saw that one coming.
You're the
I was
one
forced
person
to
that
go
saw
see
that
that
movie.
movie.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
not.
Yeah.
I'm the big Will Smith fan.
I think we all
Um,
are.
Speaking of things that Will Smith is no longer in,
Fresh
did
Prince?
you see the second Django
Oh,
and
yeah,
Train
dude. Oh,
Django and
yes.
Chain trailer?
Yeah.
So good.
Amazing.
That looks good.
When is that out?
Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay.
So midnight of Christmas Eve.
Oh yeah. Dude.
Know what else
I
looks
don't think
awesome?
else to
On my birthday.
do. Ooh.
Oh, there we go.
The Adele song for Skyrim. Not Skyrim.
That would be
for Skyrim 2.
New DLC Adele,
Bond edition.
dude. That
It
movie's
won't work on
gonna be-
PS3. So
And I didn't
That's 'cause
realize
it's new
that
DLC, so
Exactly.
for Skyfall, I didn't realize that Roger Deakins is doing the cinematography, and he's the one who does all this, with the exception of Burn After Reading. I mean, he's done the cinematography for the Coens since like their second or third movie. And he did the assassination of Jesse James, which
I heard
the
it was,
movie's
I
whatever.
heard it was
but
boring, but it looked beautiful.
It looked like watching a painting. Like I think he's just the best DP working right now. So like that on top of everything else just made me really like interested in the movie.
yeah, it's really
I
good.
watched a Norwegian film called Headhunters, starring Jamie Lannister. It's instant viewing. It was fine. I'd heard a lot of good things about it, and it wasn't probably
Okay.
what I.
Have you
what I'd
watched
heard.
Troll Hunter yet?
Dude, that movie's
No, I
awesome.
haven't
Oh my god!
I haven't
We
watched
should
it.
stop this right now. And
I
watch that
agree.
movie.
We'll be back.
It's so good.
Just kidding, we're still here.
No, I've been told to watch it. My brother was watching it.
Oh
one day.
my goodness! It's
I'm
insane.
trying to think what else. I finished the Walking Dead, the season, the episode 1. I actually,
of the game.
and Neil's gonna be really excited about this.
If you say one stupid spoiler type thing about this game,
No,
I'm
it's
gonna hit you from
no,
across
it's got
the
nothing to do with the game.
Okay.
I had a bunch of Xbox points, so I thought like Neil would and downloaded Banjo Kazooie on my arcade.
So you just threw your points in the garbage. It's great.
Well, I don't know. My 6.5 hours in 2 days tells me otherwise. But anyways, yeah, that's a fun game.
Oh god!
It's
yeah.
way too much. 1,200 points is probably too much for that.
Well, it's a
But-
priceless game.
I thought it was 800.
No, it's 1,200.
Really?
Well played, Neil.
Yeah.
1,200. And I don't think. Oh, okay, yeah. So I've read through the first Hunger Games book, and I saw the movie. I
How'd that work out for you?
The book was.
It was so bad.
It was fine. The book kept me.
You were really
I guess it
interested
kept me.
in Katniss's inner turmoil.
Yes. I was really. It was really pulling at the cockles of my heart.
Does he like me? Does he not?
Do I really like him, or is this just to get me? I mean, it was entertaining in some ways. Like, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I know a lot of people.
Children killing each other. That's entertaining. No, I get it.
Right. But like, honestly, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people don't think it's fair to compare it to this, but I just think that Battle Royale did everything that book did, like 50,000 times better.
I do think after reading it, it's not really a fair comparison, but I mean, I would say it's way more interesting.
If you're interested in the children getting killed genre, I recommend Battle Royale.
The up and coming genre.
Yeah.
But the movie. Without getting too much of the movie, because we could honestly do an entire podcast on this. I'm saying we could, so I'm not going to go into it. But like, I was talking about the editing.
We're going to wait till that trilogy completely comes out.
The editing was
Mockingjay, you guys.
Horrendous, just horrendous. Like it hurt my head. It was so bad. It was just that's it. I'm done talking about it. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's it. And what are we drinking this week? Samuel Adams Oktoberfest. This is good. I like this beer.
It's a seasonal beer.
It's a seasonal beer. Yeah. We've had seasonal beers for like the past month. I like that.
I think it's October. We need to.
I agree.
It tastes like a pumpkin punched me in my throat.
In the best possible way.
And I really liked it.
You sure it doesn't taste more like a pumpkin French kiss to you?
That's what I was thinking.
I don't know what that's like.
There's a pumpkin right in front of us if you're interested.
You just bite right into that.
Maybe lick its innards a bit. Anyways, all right, so moving on
Speaking of licking innards.
The Walking Dead.
Perfect segue. 2
Touché.
points to
Touché.
Slytherin.
All right.
Let's be honest, Neil would be a Slytherin.
You are definitely. You're a Slytherin.
Yeah, you are
Absolutely. If anyone says I'm a Hufflepuff, I'm stabbing all of you.
I was going to say he wants to be the Hufflepuff.
Not me.
But all right. So yeah, The Walking Dead premiered Sunday night.
But we're not talking about that.
But we're not talking. Yeah, we're going to talk about another break. Premiered the 3rd season. First season was what, like 6 episodes?
Yeah,
something like that.
It was
yeah,
very
kind of short.
13
No, it was
season
6.
2.
You're right.
It had twice the content of season 2.
It had twice the content of season 2.
Exactly.
That is true.
That's a perfect comparison.
That
actually.
is true.
No problem.
So I'm just curious. So disregarding the season 3 premiere, just from a general standpoint, we'll start with you, John Michael.
Okay.
What do you think about the show?
Okay, so let me say this. I think the best thing I can say about The Walking Dead is every Sunday night I'm excited that The Walking Dead is coming on.
Okay.
So like even though like let's say like season 2, let's be honest,
Wait,
was
did you
not
really
the best.
feel that way completely through
Yes,
season 2?
I still wanted to know every single week like what was going to happen. I enjoyed that all the way. Well, okay, I didn't completely
He's a big
enjoy
Carl
it.
fan.
Yeah, Carl is my favorite. I have his action figure and everything.
Why? When you have Carol to like
Come
so
to the
much.
house where you just sit up right outside the house all the time.
Where's Carl?
There's different reasons why I look forward to it, and it's not always for the
Carl's mother.
wonderful plot of sitting on the farm, like
For one
Scratch
entire
your
season.
scratching our asses. One of the reasons I really enjoy looking forward
And
to it.
emoting very heavily.
Yeah.
Carl, get in the house.
And that could be from any like 6 of the characters.
I'm your father. I'm the leader of this group. This is not a democracy.
No, but one of the things I actually really like is I like seeing what they do different with zombies every week, because
I would say that
makeup
their
and
special effects.
The well zombie.
Just
The zombie in the well,
from,
remember
from
that
the
one?
very beginning
Yes,
of the
it's
whole,
so good.
of all Walking Dead, that always grabbed me, because they always have like, they'll have these other zombies, but they always have those 1 or 2 zombies that they show that
exactly.
just look like really, really, really awesome. They do it really, really
So
well.
I was talking to my girlfriend Letty about this, and she's really into The Walking Dead as well. But there's whenever you talk about those one specific zombies they have in every episode, they actually like if you go on like the websites and look up like backside information about them, whatever, they actually come up with like stories for these zombies that they've made, like these very specific zombies and stuff. Like you can find background information on these. Like
You mean stories about the person before they became a
right,
zombie?
exactly. Like they
That
they
was a
have
big
names
thing in
and stuff,
season
like-
1. The chick crawling like half the body.
Yeah,
the very
bicycle
first
they did
girl.
zombie that he kills.
They did like mini webisodes for her, which
Okay,
I
yeah,
never
okay.
watched.
They,
But
but yeah, they basically
They do really good-
Episodes.
I know.
Just kidding.
That's fair.
honestly that I really do. And
I don't.
I look forward to seeing like what zombie's gonna like show up and like how it's gonna like.
And they're always really clever, and they're always
Yes,
really neat.
exactly. I gotta say, like, I'm not tuning in for necessarily the plot.
Which weird side note, when I was playing the game, when they first show a lot of the zombies, all the zombies look different too, and I noticed that because there are a lot of games you'll play with zombies where
Yeah,
they
they just
actually
look the same.
it's like the same
Dead
skin,
Rising.
Like
But
the like the zombies commercial for Black Ops 2.
Oh, we can't wait for
Why
that.
don't they just? Oh my god!
Stop making
anyway,
it.
go back.
anyway.
I just want to say that the game did that too, and I know it was like one of those things that pulled me back into
I
the whole
think
game.
that's
what I felt
what's
like.
so cool about, I guess, that show in general is they. Okay, so
And Carl.
yeah, Carl's the greatest, but I mean, we can talk about that after the break.
Well, we cannot. Yeah.
It's up to you. But I guess one of the things about like The Walking Dead is it's not just like this is a zombie show. It's like this is a show and like there's like characters and stuff but there's
It's all
zombies.
drama.
Yeah, there's zombies in it, and they take those zombies very seriously in a way, and I think I like that. I guess they
But like, it's not about the zombies. And, like,
Right.
That's what's good.
zombies
Right.
is just like an element in there,
Yeah.
and it's just
It's like the backdrop for the whole show.
right, and
like,
it's
characters.
done very well.
Dumb women and children is what the show's about.
Right.
Right.
I guess so far as like characters, not so great. Plot, but setting wise, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's
And
the
it
best
feels
part of that
like,
show.
like, the
Yes.
atmosphere of that show is like,
That is, like, the most
the
perfect
opening
piece.
of the show is like
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So I guess that's one of the things, like as far as setting goes, like, and I mean, I guess we can't talk about season
What was the
3
question?
yet, but
Just what are your thoughts in
Thoughts.
general about the show? Like,
so I guess my thoughts are I really enjoy the setting. Characters, there's some I kind of like, some that most I just
What's
just
the
stop.
one's name that everyone loves? I know you know the one with the crossbow. What's his
Daryl.
name?
Daryl.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, so
he's,
good.
He's a badass.
He's
I
gonna be
mean,
at
let's
Comic Con.
be
New
honest.
Orleans.
oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh,
And actually,
dude.
there are gonna be a lot of the guys there.
Can we talk about spoilers in this?
I met the kids there
Yeah,
last
yeah,
year.
yeah.
by the way. I met
So-
the kids there last time.
Really?
They were at the
You met-
Comic Con.
You met
Yeah.
Carl?
Yes, actually, ironically.
Did you get his
ironically.
autograph?
No, I wanted to punch him in the face. Remember, it's like me. Seriously, I just wanted to go up to him and just be like, hey, you know, I really enjoy. Just kidding.
Carl!
It's because he's probably taller than you.
No. I felt bad for the girl though. I was just like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah. I don't know. what I
Like
was
you
saying.
got fired.
I was like, I'm glad they still let you go to these conventions.
You're in script in name only for the next 7 episodes.
yeah.
I really like being on this show. Well, too bad.
Too bad because we're not.
I really like Dale. I know he kind of got obnoxious sometimes, but I thought he was like one of like
Oh,
the most
yeah.
reasonable characters on that show.
Nope.
And whenever he died, I was like, oh
I was
no.
like, awesome death scene. That's what I did.
I was actually upset that Dale died.
yeah, I
Me
was too.
I just thought it was an
It's-
awesome death
you know who
scene.
I was?
It was.
Like when they killed Shane, I was like, finally, it's about time.
You know what I really
God.
liked?
Um,
When Lori was upset about that. That's what I really liked.
Is that what you-
Yeah.
That turmoil. Yeah.
Dude. And maybe it's a well, we can get to it in a second. I'm just
So-
saying maybe
so
it's a
you-
credit. Maybe it's a credit to the show that like some of these characters, I'm just like,
Why are you still
away.
alive?
Like,
Right,
go
yeah.
away.
That
You
is
are a,
something.
well, I'm like you are a. Well, I'm saying like you're a detriment. Like to the fact that like
What's that,
to, like
Andrea?
like
Was
yeah,
that-
Andrea and like Shane. Like Shane,
Yeah.
for instance, is like you.
It's like
You're
you
a
watch
detriment.
Lost, right? It's like everyone was Walt. That's how a lot of those characters are. Not Walt, the dad.
Michael.
Yeah, everyone was Michael. That's how it reminds me. It's just
I'm just saying, like with
obnoxious
Shane, I'm just like
things.
I'm like because I'm just kind of like you are mentally dangerous,
Yeah.
and there are characters like just saying like you are
He
going.
was, but he also did things that did make sense. Like,
Right.
Like shooting the fat dude and letting him stay there and get eaten while he ran away.
True.
Correct decision.
I mean, that's what drives the story. That's what makes the
Yeah,
show so
exactly.
interesting. Is that these terrible people make terrible choices. Well, maybe it's not so terrible. It depends if you're in that situation.
Again,
that's what makes the
Well, but
show.
I think that was a big. I
setting.
think that was like the big theme of season 2 was like no hope, and is there hope? Then how should we act according to that? Like, do we abandon ourselves to this world that we live in? Which is why I kind of like. I mean, yeah, I agree. Dale got overbearing sometimes, but at the same time, he was
He's
kind of
supposed to be.
right.
Yeah.
But he was kind of like the final. I mean, that was him fighting against.
Yeah, he was
The
like
world
holding on to his
changing.
humanity.
Yeah, he was the
was
only
trying
one
to
that
hold on to his humanity when
made
you
some
had
sort
to
of
kind
sense.
of like separate yourself from humanity
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
survive.
Right.
But you like
No, I love the show. I love the show.
Okay, so but specifically, like as someone who's you've read everything
yes,
that's out right
I've
now,
read
right?
everything.
Okay.
Every single comic book that is out, and it's so hard to talk about that without spoiling it because
Don't.
there are a lot of things that are different. Between as far as what characters stay alive.
Aren't there like
Which-
substantially more characters in the comic books? Like, don't they bring in and like
but you
eliminate
like
people?
that.
Eventually,
right?
yeah. I honestly like. I mean, it.
I mean, then you can watch the show and it's not like the same thing.
Right.
Is that
Yeah.
wrong?
No. I enjoy it. It's not bad. It's like, The thing with Shane, actually, after the end of the first book,
I'm gonna read the book, so you can't
Shane-
actually spoil the book for me.
What?
Because I'm
Well,
reading the book.
what
That's
am I
saying.
gonna say?
He was just asking how you feel about it. You don't have to be like,
Okay,
I spoil the book.
I thoroughly enjoy the show. I really do. I absolutely love the comic books better. I think the comic books handle the characters better.
Is the atmosphere the same? Like, does it feel the same? Do you feel like the book? You know what I mean? Do you feel like the movies represent? Because I know the books are supposed to be like super super dark, but like they're still kind of comic bookish. I just didn't know if it.
There's a lot
feels
more
like
sex in the comic books for
That's
sure.
what I hear.
Of course, what's I don't know. Like it's
It's
the end of
right,
the
it's
world.
right,
It's the end of the
yeah.
world. That's what I'd be doing. You know what I mean?
All those zombies.
What was I gonna say? I lost my train
I
of
mean,
thought.
even though you're talking about like, I mean, the show is dark as the show is.
Yeah.
There's definitely some B movie qualities to the show,
Right.
very much.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, you know, it's like all dangerous, and then
Right.
How everyone is perfect with a gun.
That was.
Yeah.
Oh, we can
That's
talk about
we'll talk about that
Let's
later.
fly. Okay, we'll
There's
get.
so many reasons. It's like, no, you are running. You are in a car. You are even no.
You are Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But you do feel like they do a pretty good job.
I do. I mean, the comic books are always about. There are those awesome detailed drawings of a zombie getting stabbed in the face in the comic books, like every other panel. But essentially, what it's about is the group of survivors, what they do to survive, the choices they make, and I mean, it makes you reflect on what you would do, and it's kind of haunting. Like it's I don't know. It brings you to a dark place where you're like, would I do that? Probably, but I don't want to say.
You don't
I
wanna
don't want to tell anybody else I'd do that. You know,
Yeah.
it's just. I think they do a pretty good job of that, translating that over. But that's what I enjoy about the comic books the most, and I think the show does a pretty decent job of doing that. It's entertaining.
Hey, so you said the characters are better in the comic book?
Yes,
They're
especially since y'all mentioned something about Andrea, like she is one of my absolute favorite characters in the comic books, and they're taking way too long to develop her. What she becomes.
I can't. I didn't.
I know
like
that's
her in
interesting
season 2.
because in the comic book she's like one of the great, like she's
That's
like one of the most essential characters.
She's one of those characters that I'm like, come on.
And there's something about
Get her.
and the thing about Dale is Dale lasts throughout the series. Like he's still alive, and I was really shocked that they killed him off
That's probably why they
in
did
season
that,
2,
too.
which makes sense because we were talking about he's like the voice of reason. He's the only one
Yeah.
that's left, and whenever he was dead, it was like, oh shit, like the voice of reason is gone.
But I think
what do we do?
They were probably doing some of those things for people who have read the
Yeah,
comics.
like you,
Sure,
you wouldn't
yeah.
expect
Right,
that. Yeah,
which
that's
I
fair.
appreciate.
Yeah,
I
that's
enjoy
fair.
it. I enjoy it. Just, I know the comic books stand alone. The show stands alone. They both entertain me. I like them both a lot. So that's that.
Neil, would you like to?
I mean, no, I was just gonna say that. I mean, like I said, I started liking the show just because I liked the way they did a lot of the makeup and stuff like that when the show first premiered. I was like, man, for a show that's on basic cable and stuff like that, looked really really good.
Yeah.
And it was just it felt like a movie. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it felt
yeah,
like
it
the
did.
quality
Yeah.
of it when it first started at least felt like that.
Well, then that's one of the things that I noticed, like, and they actually did it really well in season 2, and they did it well in the premiere, was that this show, and especially Breaking Bad, are like the only 2 shows I've ever watched. I mean, I'm just paying attention to it more now, but they're the only shows that I've really ever watched where I felt like they took time to really craft their shots and the lighting and the cinematography, and I really felt like, whereas a lot of TV shows just kind of like, all right, let's just get it done, or it's like super duper CSI. But in those shows, like I'd like, you know, like a lot of what they did in the prison, but we can talk about that later. But like but like the way that it looks very professional, very well done.
Yeah, and I really like that. I really like the opening. I really like the music.
I love the opening.
I just like the whole way that like you're talking about, like the atmosphere of the show feels. It was very like the hopelessness and it just I don't know. I mean I'm pretty okay with the show. I mean I got really bored with parts in season 2, but
Well, yeah, but
Well, I think everybody did.
I think what's great about that show is season 1 just completely brings you in. Like if you start watching that show, you are hooked for the most part.
and I feel like even if you're not a horror fan, or if you're not like or if you're burned out on the whole zombie thing in general,
Yeah,
which is
it's-
perfectly acceptable,
well,
I still
yeah,
feel like the
right.
show works because
Right.
there's not a lot of zombie interaction in some of the episodes. And things like
I
that.
really like
Especially season 2.
season 1 is just, I don't know, there's so many good parts and pieces to that whole thing, and I guess season 2 really just drops a lot of that and
I mean,
scatters
just
it. And,
just like in season 1, when he pulls up and he's like on the horse and he like turns that corner and there's just like a bunch of
yeah, and it's like, oh, time to start this.
yeah. It was really like that feeling.
I really liked them being in the city for some reason. I guess it
Yeah.
felt like Resident Evil-y kind of in a way, but
Right.
and it wasn't the farm.
yeah, the farm was just is too serene in a way, and like there's I don't know.
And it's almost like nothing happened.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah,
fun,
almost like
and
that.
like I don't know. Anyway, what about you, Josh?
I guess I almost kind of have not a different take on season 1. Obviously, I love season 1, but to me, like, so I sat down and watched all the episodes like back to back.
And
like,
season 1's only like
6.
Right.
But I had seen that. I had seen most of it when it was on TV. Bought the DVD and it came out. But I didn't watch season. Well, I saw the first episode of season 2, but I didn't watch the other 12 episodes until they were on Netflix. And so I watched them almost in rapid succession. So it really, like, the pace of the show didn't bother me as much. Whereas if I had watched it on a weekly basis, I could see like wanting to put a nail through my hands
Right.
at part of it. But I think that like obviously overall I like the show. I love zombie stuff. There's things about the show that bother me. Like I feel like not that they're not good actors, but I feel like some of the material is almost maybe too melodramatic.
really
for the way that they're-
you don't say.
But I'm
Really?
just saying like it
And there's
doesn't.
shitty dialogue.
Lori,
Oh,
you
my
and Carl
God.
go get in the house.
Yeah, like I'm just
They're
like,
zombies.
and it's almost like
But I
the
like him.
they're
though.
scary.
Like, that's the thing. I actually like
the
him.
forced kind of like I'm upset and confused. Sometimes I'm just it's almost like it's like you're this. It's like
Oh,
just
God.
that deep like these are deep emotional conversations. Like it's almost like it's too forced and it's kind of fake.
Especially the season premiere.
One of the things that I liked about season 2, the scene where what's her name, Sophia?
Yes.
The scene where she walks out of the barn.
The
is,
mid-season.
in
That was the
my,
mid-season
is in
finale.
my opinion, by far the best scene of the entire series.
That was the only time I've
was
ever
intense.
felt bad for someone or questioned killing a zombie, and I've never thought about that. Like in
Right,
any
right.
of the movies I've seen, I'm like, why don't they just shoot the,
Like even like when they're like just now getting infected.
And it was
like,
really weird.
yeah.
Like I didn't see that coming. Like for me, because
Right,
like,
right.
Because like they're definitely like foreshadowing that like consistently throughout the show.
Yeah,
and even, like, with
I guess
Herschel
it's
when
one of those
he gets
things
in
you
the barn.
don't want it to be true.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
Well,
But you did want you always wanted like they need to hurry up and find.
Yeah,
this stupid
exactly.
girl.
Right.
But it was that was a really good payoff.
Well,
Yeah,
then
it was a
the
good
thing I
payoff
was
for all that
wondering.
waiting.
I
Yeah,
was like,
it was.
it was because I'm like, I commented to you like right before I watched that episode, I'm like, this is taking too long.
Yeah,
I was wondering, I'm like, but
Just keep watching.
I'm like, I kind of feel like that was. I mean, was it an appropriate amount of time to take for that? Because I thought that was an amazing payoff. And the thing is,
when you're watching them all at once.
Yeah.
because you're showing all these things coming out to the barn, and you're like, it was a great scene because it's like, in your mind, you know that this is what you wanted to happen, but the way in which it happened,
It
you're
was
just
like you're like this is such a bad idea. Why? Yeah, it was a very tense and just
right.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, it's over. But when they went back to that door and you heard another zombie, I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, oh,
Everyone's
no. When
like,
she walked
no
out,
way.
I was like amazing.
And then it just set,
fantastic.
It just set everything right about like who was really the one who was taking action and taking charge and like just shut everybody up. You know what I mean? Like it set that up really right. Like he was gonna have to do that anyway.
Right, and that to me was that was an amazing scene. And then of course like the finale where they're fleeing the barn. You didn't like that where they're fleeing
Finale
the barn?
season 2?
Was that the one where they're all driving cars shooting zombies?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was fun.
I'm not talking.
That was really stupid to me that they're all in cars shooting these headshots and headshots.
Okay,
and
well, yeah, the
headshots.
headshots,
They
the
had, like,
headshots,
2 guns each.
the headshots I'll give you, but like the kid
whole
getting
thing.
the
No, it was a
RV.
cool scene.
The only thing that was cool about that was they were finally leaving the damn barn, the whole farm. That was the only thing I liked about it.
I don't. The one thing I really thought was cool, and I've never actually seen this done, and maybe this is me being film douche. I don't know, whatever. But when they're in the bar and there's these guys arguing it. Now I got a little aggravated when they were arguing with the guys because the guys are like, "Is so and so in there?" Well, just tell them no, and they'll leave. But no, we can't do that. But like whenever he takes the shotgun, Herschel takes the shotgun and he slides it to Glenn on the floor. It's like they have a camera on the gun or something,
Yeah.
and it just like follows him all the way up. And I'm just like, that's just the coolest thing ever. That's just the coolest thing ever. That was the bee's knees, man.
Yeah.
But so what do you? Okay, so let's talk about
Herschel.
Well, let's talk about the characters. First of all, I like
We're just talking about the characters from the beginning.
Wait, who's
before
everybody's
we get
favorite
to
character in
final.
the show?
We already went over John Michaels.
Daryl's my favorite.
Daryl. I mean, everybody
I
likes
thought you were gonna say Carl. Yeah,
Carl. Yeah, dude.
Carl.
Honestly, I don't really like anybody on that show. I really
don't
don't.
like-
like,
you don't like
I
Daryl?
don't really like Daryl.
I mean, Daryl's everybody's fan.
I'm not a
favorite.
big
Like,
redneck fan, and
What about what's her name? What about Glenn?
redneck.
Glenn's cool. I like
actually-
Glenn.
I
Glenn
actually
is
do
cool.
like Glenn,
Come on,
but that's
he's-
gonna be too easy
he's
if I say
right.
that.
Right, 'cause he's
Exactly.
Asian.
I liked Glenn less this season because he got all romance stupid.
Yeah.
See, that
know.
didn't bother
That
me
didn't
as
bother
much
me.
because what else is he gonna do?
Right.
But like,
That's
I
fair.
really
He needs somebody.
There's nothing
He's-
else going on.
He's the coolest one in the
What was
group.
surprising to me is that he didn't get killed.
Mm-hmm.
Because they kept on being like, "We're gonna kill him. We're gonna kill
Right,
him. There's a scene where we're gonna kill him. You know he's gonna die now." Or, "Hey, let's just send Glenn out to do all the dumb shit."
Yeah.
You know, like,
Glenn, go steal some shit
yeah,
for us.
just go. And
what-
I mean, that I thought that.
What's
was
the
really
girl's
neat.
name that he's got now?
Maggie.
Maggie. Yeah, I like her too. Honestly,
No,
Like-
but I know my roommate really doesn't like her. Like she talked about how she just found out it was really annoying and really obnoxious, like the way she would like play around with Glenn's fine.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I like the character overall, but she definitely had moments from like stop being stupid.
yeah,
Yeah.
But that's
Stop
not
being-
Look at her
stop being-
father.
Right. But I
It's in her genes.
God.
I didn't like.
And
I
Red
would love to get a
jeans.
female's perspective on this character.
He just gave you one.
Bruce. I was waiting for someone to say it. Thanks, Josh.
He just gave you one.
That was good.
But
what
I
about-
mean,
Well, I can just tell you that I actually watched the whole first and second season with my roommate because we watched it from week to week, and she was just the same with me, just like yelling at the TV a lot about how dumb every female decision in the show was. Like literally, like they were.
That is true.
Like,
you're not kidding, dude.
Like, and it was to the point where you're like this is really bad. Like it was like these. Like the typical cliched. This
if they're
woman's
not
going to make the
romantically
dumb
torn, then they want to kill themselves. It's
right.
like, dude,
It's like, God, did only men write this script and just go, yeah,
Probably.
Like that's really that, and that
Only
really
men
stand
wrote the
out.
but I don't
comic
know if you
books.
can make that argument because the men really weren't making that much better decisions either.
No, but
Yeah.
the women were, like you said, making the emotionally
Right,
torn,
right,
or they're
right.
going to kill themselves.
Okay, well, let's ask this: who's your favorite character?
In season 2, I would say I'd say it's Daryl. And I like how they gave him his own episode in season 2.
Yeah, he like falls in that ravine and
Yeah,
stuff.
that was like
I
really
think-
cool. He sort of hallucinated a little bit and saw his
Yeah.
brother.
I think one of the things I like about
And I
Daryl,
like that guy as an actor too, his brother, even though he's
Oh,
a
he's
racist
Michael
asshole.
Rooker.
And they still haven't
Yeah, he's
they still haven't given that
Right,
character
right,
closure
right,
too,
right.
which is
that
which
dude's
is
coming
interesting.
back.
I
I'm
think-
confident now.
Absolutely. I mean,
My-
he cauterized his arm. He's
Yeah.
gotta come back.
well,
Like, come on.
that's my thing. The reason I like Daryl is because what's Michael Rooker's? What's his character's
I
name?
keep forgetting.
Someone with a
Merle?
D.
Is it
Merle?
Merle?
Yeah,
And how Merle was so just crazy, and so at in season 1, you're like, and Daryl's obviously angry. He's racist. He's a lot of things. He's like, and so you're just like you're just waiting for this character to explode.
You know what?
But the fact that he's kind of chosen to go the other way made me I like his character a lot
He
more.
is the Vegeta of The Walking Dead.
Yes, he is the Vegeta of The Walking Dead.
That's a stretch, guys. Okay.
False.
He is.
I mean, I get it.
False.
I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, guys. Sure.
We're nerd
I like
takeout
that.
Neil,
Yeah.
I
by
like
the
that
way.
analogy.
In
I
case
like
you
it.
didn't know.
Really good.
Do y'all have an outsider? Because I'm just gonna pretend like Carl doesn't exist. But like,
Please.
do y'all have a least favorite?
Oh, that
character?
was about to be my next question. Yeah.
Oh wait, I can say the most underused character is whatever the random token black guy is. They put
T-Dog?
T-Dog!
Yeah.
Okay.
T-Dog.
Okay.
Jesus,
The
that is
most
like-
the
that is-
whole
that-
time I'm watching a
oh.
show, I'm like
where
I
is
specifically
T-Dog?
want to talk about this because
That really bothered.
I
That
kind
really bothered
of
me.
feel like it's like you have a bunch of white people in a barn and you're just like making this black guy. His name is T-Dog, and you're not doing anything with him, but he's
Yeah.
kind of just like
Ever.
Pulling
Yeah,
Yeah,
like he
yeah.
doesn't.
In fact, like his arm gets like ripped in half. And they're like, oh, let's just
Yeah,
set that
like
shit back up.
and
We're
they
gonna
don't make
fight
him
back.
like funny or anything.
No.
Like I mean,
Funny.
you know what I mean? Like
No, I don't. Moving on.
you know, it seems like
No.
I feel like they do. I feel like they've wasted a lot of
Yeah, they
opportunity,
did.
and he's also just kind of like, yeah, I'll go with whatever Shane says, and I'm like, dude, dude,
that's a
it's
really
so-
good T-Dog impression.
Popping
Hon-
fingers in
honestly-
each other's
honestly,
assholes.
No, but it's sad because like at the beginning, like they had that whole scene like with his brother, you know, with
Yeah.
that other
Right,
guy's
right,
brother.
right,
And I was
right.
like, I really liked the way they played that off, how he was gonna do it anyway, despite this dude being the most racist prick ever. And
Right.
he like drops the key and stuff, but like yeah, they never do anything.
He's every time I see him on screen, I'm like, I thought he was dead.
Me too.
Oh wait, no, never mind. I guess he's not.
There
like,
is.
what
Like,
are
why
you
do they
keeping him?
Like, are they have to be planning something at some point because they should have
Yeah.
just killed him.
He has the antidote.
He
there-
literally has
right.
nothing to do. There was no point in season 2, including when he got his arm ripped, where he made any bearing on the story whatsoever.
No.
Right. He's just
Except
kinda there.
that he saved what's her face, but then she just had to cuss at him because he wanted to leave Rick and everybody behind.
Yeah.
It's just like it's almost kind of like I don't like.
Do you have a least favorite
A
character?
least
That's not like I said, not
Carol.
Carol.
I was about to say Carol.
Carol.
Sophia's mom.
Sophia's
short
mom.
hair,
I like
gray
her.
hair.
That's my-
I don't
She's-
dislike-
Useless. Like she's the emotional weight, and then her daughter dies, and then she grieves, and then she's pointless.
Yeah, but I feel like they
She's
had
kind
no-
of
I mean, I feel
Daryl's
like
love interest.
Nah,
Sort of
that's
like
great.
they hint that a little bit, which is still
Yeah,
weird.
we'll talk about
Still-
it.
I mean, it is,
No,
but
no,
it's just weird.
But like, I don't know. I liked her. I didn't feel like she got that annoying to me as a mother with her daughter as much as she could have
Right.
been in that show.
I think what annoyed me was at the end, and it kind of annoyed me with a lot of the characters, is like specifically her when they're sitting around the fire. I mean, they're at the end of the premiere when Rick says, "Oh, by the way, it's in all of us," and they're like, "Oh my gosh, why didn't you tell us this?" And it's like, what does it matter? Like, why is this such a big deal?
Mm-hmm.
And then she immediately turns to Daryl and is like, "I don't like him. We should leave." And I'm like, hold on. He
Say
kept the
bye.
search. He kept the search going for your daughter while everyone else was yelling at him, and he put his life on the line for her
Multiple
times, and other people's life on the line. And his son got shot as a result of that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And now you're telling me that you want to like.
Are you saying she was making an emotional, distraught, ridiculous decision, and she's a woman on the show?
I wasn't gonna say all that, but yeah, pretty much, yeah.
I
But
kinda-
He doesn't have to say it, Neil.
I was gonna say I kind of
Speaks
don't
for
like
itself.
Lori
Sexist.
very much.
Maybe.
Really,
Who?
Lori?
Lori-
Yeah, Lori's a stupid
How-
bitch.
I'm
the
just
whole
gonna
time.
write that
Awful
off
is she?
just because she's pregnant.
Or she's like
Not
such a
always. I
bitch.
mean, she
that
just
whole
always
Yeah, I
that
know.
that
whole
way, like-
thing about
Yeah, she's
her
a
being mad
nagging-
about
she's
him killing
nagging.
Shane is the most.
That's
insane
exactly-
thing
She
to me.
specifically like sexually coerced him by whispering into his ear to do that.
Yeah.
And
And
it was just
what'd
like-
you do that for?
Yeah.
Come on, guy.
Everyone talks the same on the show, apparently.
Yeah. Carl, Lori.
Carl, get in the house.
Yeah,
But you know though,
and
but
then
you
Lori
know though
flips
that
the
he's
car, she does,
actually
like, every dumb
My
Andrew,
son
you know
was
that
shot.
Andrew Lincoln is actually British in real
He
life.
is.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
Maggie
yeah.
girl is too.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
okay, so what about what's your least? Did you already say?
Oh, everyone. But I probably I said that I thought the guy T-Dog was pretty
T-Dog.
useless. But if not Carl, it would be Lori. Like I just
Yeah.
feel like, and I also really hate the stupid blonde chick. What was her
Andrea.
name?
Andrea.
I hate her.
Oh my
I want her
God.
to die.
I
so
hate that
bad.
She's
though. I
compulsive-
hate that
she's
she's so
compulsively made
good in the
terrible
comics.
decisions
Yeah,
because
she's so good.
because she's so just like grr. F
I'm
life.
angsty.
I'm angsty. Like
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah,
just
she's
like,
My
really
sister
angsty.
died.
and it's just like it's like I want
Get
to
in the
kill
house.
myself, but then I want to get angry at the person who cares
Okay,
about
just,
me.
Just for the record,
Like, what are you, 12?
This isn't on our which are least or favorite characters, but did y'all have a hard time keeping track of like who's his daughter or how many daughters there were on
Yes.
the farm?
Yep.
And stuff like, because I was always like, wait, how many kids does he have?
And then there's,
'Cause,
like,
like
a-
see a random girl walk by, I'm
I'm
like,
like, who's that?
Yeah.
what is that?
Now I did like how they disposed of the dead weight in the farm at the end
Oh
of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
They could dispose a little more, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, in fact, honestly, I don't know how many people died on the farm. I don't remember how many people were there.
Enough, it's
when
fine.
literally when the new episode started, I was like, okay, I'm trying to go.
Yeah, I'm like,
there were two people from the farm. Otis's wife, because let's be honest,
She was useless.
and
Patricia.
then Jimmy was his name. And weren't they like? Did they reference the fact that he was married to the youngest daughter,
I don't know.
Jimmy? Like
Yeah.
like that his
the RV kid?
No, I don't think so.
I thought they said like they were dating after 3 weeks or engaged.
I think there was
or
some
something.
other. No, I don't think it was his young like the other
okay.
girl.
And then is it Otis? Is that the guy?
Otis. But I liked Otis just because
I
of
like fat people.
Wow.
that's.
Throwing it out there.
I liked his character because he's like, I did something wrong and I'm gonna fix it. But then he gets shot in the leg and he kind of
Yeah.
freaks out. And I'm just like, I liked what they did with that
Yeah.
character because I genuinely felt bad for him. Like felt bad for the position that he was in because I'm like, he
Would you
obviously.
have not done that if you were Shane though? Because like that's like the correct thing to do. Just
I
to let you
mean,
know.
yeah.
That's the correct thing to do.
It's not the thing that you would want them to do, but what I honestly am not. I don't know. I think that's
Okay.
the great thing about the
I
show.
would have never went anywhere with Shane ever, like by myself. Like that just seems like a bad.
But he didn't know that.
Okay, would
Look
you?
at the dude? Nope.
It was the right thing to do to get rid of like that guy.
He's got
Would
the
you had
anger
to?
now.
If I was running with Andrew, I would have shot him in the leg.
But why not just like shoot him in the
That
head
wouldn't
after?
happen ever.
Oh, I would not do that.
I don't think. Could
Because
you aim the gun without getting blown back?
To slow him down. He has to
Oh.
be screaming and yelling.
I don't think Neil would operate guns in a zombie apocalypse.
No, I would operate a guns like I'm not operating guns. Not really. Just
If
kidding.
you shot a gun, it would like blow you back like
That's
30
not-
feet into the
that's
crowd
not
of
true.
zombies.
That's not true.
Snub nose revolver like breaks his wrist when you shoot, right?
That's not true.
So I think
The
the show's like
Walther PPK breaks his fingers.
the
You have a
show. The
laptop
show
gun.
is like it's almost pulling a Breaking Bad where you're just like, I don't want to cheer for anyone because I don't agree with anyone in the show. I
Yeah.
kind of just want the zombies to kill
We
everybody.
need to have that show about Breaking Bad because I cheer for people all the time in that show.
But
I'm just letting you know.
I don't want to get into Breaking Bad.
But what about? Okay, so what do you think about Herschel?
I think
I like Herschel.
it's like I like him at times, but most of the time I
It
don't.
reminds me of my old pastor.
I guess that's a good thing.
That's what he is.
I
Like
don't
he's
like him.
I like Herschel I was always kind of like, I didn't really know where he stood, but
But then you realize
after
he was keeping dead people in his
right,
bar.
but after that
Right.
whole bar episode,
Yeah.
whenever
And when
I
he
feel like
got
I'm like,
badass,
all right.
yeah.
I forgot about.
And they had that whole thing where he's like, "Here, do you know how to use a gun?" And he just kind of looked at him. He's like, "Yes, I know how to use a gun." And then he, which I bought him being able to shoot zombies in the head a lot more than some of those other people.
Yep. Carl.
Carl.
or anyone else.
Get in the house.
Get in the house, Carl.
Yeah. Or taking a shotgun from an SUV and being able. Okay. Oh, let's talk about this. How and this was and I guess we can talk about this more in season 3. But how all like you have a revolver and then you have a rifle and then you have a shotgun and they all seem to somehow have the same range and the same
Shotguns
accuracy.
can shoot really far though, but accuracy would be pretty tough. That's
Yeah.
pretty weird.
It's
And then like my pistol can shoot as far as my rifle.
Again, all of them just being able to be expert marksmen.
Yeah, that's-
I mean, I understand it's conceived.
all
like,
they
most
do is get
shows.
headshots. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
There's only
all.
I think there's only one episode in season 2 like where they practice their shooting.
Yeah.
But they do it in the comic books.
Yeah.
They do it a
But
lot.
in that
Like they
frame-
practice their shooting a lot.
Well, if I was in the middle
Every
of that,
day.
that's all I would be
But in the
doing.
premiere,
Right,
they were
but they
like,
didn't
hey,
show it a
you've
lot in
gotten
the
to be
show.
a pretty good shot now, haven't you? That's my favorite
Yeah.
line of dialogue. No, I don't.
Exposition.
There's just there's like a couple of scenes I remember really liking about season 1 and 2. What was the one in the bar when
That was
they
season
meet those two other guys?
season 2.
Season
Yeah.
I
two.
really liked the way that whole scene
Yeah.
was done. Where
Yeah.
it just felt like
Because we were off the
shit,
farm
it's gonna
and
go
like
bad.
yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
hey,
Because you
go
felt
on.
like you were back in the city like
yeah,
season
yeah,
1.
and it was like one of those things where it's like, what do you do there? Because it's not like those guys were necessarily like bad, you know what I mean,
Right.
or anything like
Like
that.
let's see how they react
It
with
was just, I
someone
just think it
outside
was
the group.
I just think it was people and it was
I think
I-
everything after that part of the scene that was stupid with him falling into a fence and like cutting his leg and all that dumb stuff. I didn't like any of that. He
Oh,
fell
yeah,
into
yeah.
a post and like his like leg
Yeah.
was like on the post and like sticking through his leg. and
That
just
was pretty
blood
cool.
I
off.
understand ultimately like why they had to have that character exist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like that
they
was
could do that a better way.
well they couldn't they didn't have to take that long to decide what they were going to do with the kid. I mean,
No.
come on.
Yeah.
Is that more than 2 episodes?
That was like 3 or 4 episodes.
Oh, it was a lot.
God.
Yeah, it
But
was,
weren't they all? There was one scene that was kind of intense. Like they're all standing in the in one room in the house, like debating on whether or not
Yeah.
to kill the kid.
Yeah, and that's
I
when
think
you
Dale was the only one that
That's
was
when
like,
Dale-
yeah.
that's
and the
when-
dude like
What are we
started
doing?
crying like
you know what we become like if we do this?
Yeah.
smart and we live.
Yeah.
But what
There's
about
always two sides to every argument. That's the whole point of the show.
Yeah, live.
But what was I going to ask? I don't remember now. Dang it. Whatever. All right, next point.
So, I don't know, like, so of all the cool death scenes, was there anybody that you really liked or really didn't like because you were so emotionally distraught?
Let's see. I mean,
I mean,
Dale's-
I mean, Shane getting stabbed was the highlight.
dude,
for
that
me.
was
Yeah.
like finally.
Yeah.
Like this needed to happen so long.
Yeah, it took way too long to do that.
And I liked how they did it because it was
Compared to
kind of
comic
one of
books.
those things where it's like it wasn't some super action shootout. It was like he lured Shane in, like okay, I'm your friend, and even though you're doing this to me right now, I forgive you. Which I guess forgiving someone as they're holding a gun to you is kind of like the pinnacle of forgiveness. So you're like, wow, and then he just stabs him, and he like betrays him, and I'm just like, whoa. And then of course he watches him like choke out, and I thought
Yeah.
I was very happy that had happened. Yes.
You know, I really liked like just some of the tense moments that they do like really good where you feel like someone's gonna die. Like I
Yeah.
felt like every time
Like
Shane, every time Shane was around Dale,
Yeah.
when you're like, man, he's like
Yeah.
5 seconds from just popping this, and Dale just
Even
kept,
in
Dale
season-
just kept running his mouth like, I'm an old guy, I'm just gonna keep talking. When you know Shane's like,
I mean,
off.
that started in
Right.
season 1, like
Yeah.
when they're walking in the woods and Shane's got his gun set on Rick, and
And he calls
Yeah.
on that. He's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I knew that you did that," and it was like, "Oh, you know."
See, if that was Shane, I would have shot that dude a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
I would have just been done with that. No one would have.
but I think when the seriously, like when Dale dies, like his death scene, he's so sad and upset and like just like
Or like how they fake you out because he's like holding off the zombie and then
Yeah.
it's just like
Right.
And then like,
Exactly.
which honestly, like, okay, and that was something that I liked from a strictly aesthetic standpoint because like one of the big things in like the Of the Dead movies that they don't do anymore, I haven't seen it in any recent zombie anything is where the zombies wouldn't just bite them; they would actually like rip them open and pull their organs out and eat their organs.
They stay looking at it.
Yeah,
I mean?
like, and then where they rip their bodies apart. So I thought that was almost from a strictly aesthetic standpoint. I thought that was kind of almost like a throwback scene where I'm like, oh wow, I haven't seen a zombie do this in a long time.
Shaun of the Dead.
Was it Andrea?
Oh, yeah, that's right. They did do that. Shaun of the Dead.
Andrea was her name.
Yep.
When she shoots,
Daryl.
Yeah, that was like one of my. I might quit watching this show because this is so dumb. I was like, if he would have died or something like that, I probably would have just been like, this
that
show
pissed me off, man.
But I was almost,
she's a really good shot though.
It pissed me off that like it happened, but at the same time, I was like, maybe they'll use this as a plot device to calm her down because
Rick
just calm down. But of course, they didn't. So, I mean, do you like Rick?
I do like Rick. I think he's a good main character. He has faults, and that's what's important.
Yeah, and I feel like they do a good job of not making him make all the right decisions, and they show that he has a hard time dealing with not always making the right
putting
decisions.
up with this bitch of a wife too. So
And stupid half-handicapped child.
Well, and that was like
more handicapped than Walter White's child.
And,
wow. Oh no. Oh
wow.
Jeez.
podcast is now over.
And on that note, but I think that when
no disagreements from across the table.
No. Whenever Rick kind of loses at the end of season 2, I'm like, I don't really blame this guy.
I was like, I would have happened a long time ago.
Yep.
Literally, I would have been like, who are all you people? I've saved you people so many times. And
Hey, do you guys remember when I woke up from that coma and got here? Like,
By the way, dude, I'm just like, how are y'all?
And he put so much stuff aside, like the whole thing with he knew with his wife or he knew with his friend. You know, he was putting stuff aside and still just handling shit constantly throughout the
and
show.
now he's dealing like mentally, like, is the baby in Lori's stomach, is that his or is it Shane's, and blah blah blah.
And then she like swallows a bunch of pills to try to kill the baby.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But and that was the thing about Rick was always like, and he was always in people's favor. He's like, I'm going to help you regardless of if people are fussing at me. And it's like, I just
he's a person to me that sticks with his convictions. I feel like that's I really like when if you can do that right.
Yeah. And he's consistent. Like he's not flaky. He's consistent. Which in a way that Shane was consistent too. He was just consistent on a polar opposite.
Yeah. And I did like the Shane Rick thing. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like it got a little like wonky at certain points.
Sure.
But I feel like I like how they played off of each other like that because they were both making what they felt was the right decision, and they both had legitimate reasons for their decisions. Like not searching for Sophia was like, okay, like I can see why I wouldn't want to keep searching for Sophia.
Right.
And I feel like they were making us feel like that too. Like we can stop any time now. That would be great.
Right.
I think
that's good. And I think that's what's great about the zombie setting is that it's just like, well, you can theorize on, well, this is not right, or this is not right, or we really want to look for this girl, but within that context, which is like the epitome of a survival setting, it's like, I don't know. Yep. And at no point would you ever consider a guy whose leg went through a post. You would never consider shooting him. But in that situation, it's like we need to it's like, okay, well, let's entertain this thought and highly consider it. And I think that's what appeals to me about the zombie setting. Yeah. So.
But there were a lot of things in season 1, in season 2 though, well, mostly in season 2, that I just didn't really like that whole like inner city gang that was taking care of the hospital thing, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that was...
Like, seeing, like, they had episodes like that I didn't really like.
Which was season 1.
Was that season 1?
Yeah, that was season 1.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Where they
forgot all about that.
I'm saying, like, there's a lot of little things like that I was like, this is kind of lame.
Like a filler episode, sort of.
Mm-hmm. Really? Yeah.
Which, with 6 episodes, you have to have a filler episode?
Yeah.
Oh, and let's talk about the season finale of season 1. Because I actually really hated that.
Oh, we're in the thing and the bomb.
Oh,
goes off.
the woe is me guy.
Yeah.
And like the really cheesy like special effects of things blowing up and
Yeah.
or people deciding to stay in there, which I guess like
It's like a
that's
Lost
not
episode.
as dumb, right? Yeah. I didn't like that episode at all.
I definitely did not. Again, I feel like that episode played. I feel like like I said earlier, the show's strong point is not melodrama, and I felt like that episode was 95% that.
Yeah.
And whenever an episode falls too heavy on that, I don't know if it's how the actors are being directed. I think it's a combination of how the actors are being directed, because I've seen some of them in other stuff, and they're good actors. Like, I've seen Andrew Lincoln and stuff, and he's a good actor. But I don't know if it's the way they're being directed on top of the maybe not 100% fantastic dialogue. And I just felt like that final episode, it was really heavy full of that kind of stuff.
Fair.
Yeah,
But,
I agree.
But anyways, yeah. And then there was the that was another female character.
Yeah.
That was just like, no, I'm gonna give up.
Oh, the black lady.
Yeah,
Yep,
what was
the
her
black
name?
lady. I don't remember.
Yep.
her name.
Oh,
She was
man.
nice. I liked her.
Yeah, but
I really
didn't matter
liked her.
because I would have rather her stay than some of the other characters. But yeah, than T-Dog.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I would just say that, yeah. So on closing on the whole Walking Dead thing, I really do like it. I felt like there were some episodes that were, like you said, filler. They had the whole writers, all got fired from the first. Or they were all.
Well,
Yeah, they've all had that, like,
the
background
executive Frank
problem.
Darabont, the executive producer who is no longer credited as anything but the developer in season 3. Halfway through season 2, I don't know if he was fired or what. They had a
There's all kinds
disagreement,
of drama
but
with that.
he left.
Yeah, all the writers were changed too, though.
Yeah,
So
and so which
maybe they had plans for T-Dog.
Yeah, maybe.
maybe.
But probably
but
not.
it's like it's Frank Darabont. It's the guy that did the Shawshank Redemption and the Green Mile, and the Mist, which I really like the Mist. You didn't like the Mist? What didn't you like about the Mist? I thought it was a great B movie. You didn't think it was a good B movie? No, tell me, what didn't you like about the Mist?
I just like good things, and that wasn't one of them. I really didn't like.
What did you take it as?
You didn't like the part with the mist.
I didn't like it. I had what's his name? Paul Albright told me to watch it, I think, originally, and he was like, "Oh, it's really, really good."
I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes you like shit, so I mean, that surprised me.
But you do understand that it's like, at
I'm
least
not
to
a child.
me,
I
it's
understand
very
it's a B
similar.
movie, yeah.
I was saying to me it was very
crappy
similar in
B-movies
tone
that
to the
aren't
Walking Dead, and maybe just with the you have a drama, but at the same time you have like really strong B movie elements where you're like, well, I'm not going to take this part seriously, but I'm going to take that, like, obviously the creatures being like, well, whatever. Agree to disagree.
This is not the Walking Dead.
But it's the same thing, really.
I think there were very similar tones to the
one
two.
was good.
To the two words.
Okay. We need to take a break.
Did you just want to say anything about the game? The
I
Xbox?
mean, I don't want to.
Game's good, go play it.
But I really like it so far, and I feel like it, at least as far as I played, has that same tone.
It's like a choose your own adventure.
You
type
get to
game.
make the
But
choices.
I like the whole. You have this time limit before you can make your choice, and I like.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because like, if that was in Mass Effect, it would have been a ridiculous experience for me, and I
Yes.
would have sat there for an hour. So I think it didn't matter in the end.
Yeah. But yeah, I think to me, like, the thing I like about it is I feel like all of your decisions have weight, and some of them you see play out right there, and then sometimes they'll say so and so will remember
And
that.
you can turn that off too, which is even maybe more stressful. You
Ooh,
can turn off the things that they say.
can
And
you?
you wouldn't know any of that. You wouldn't know.
I don't know. I almost kind of feel like so and so will remember that is almost more stressful to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like I feel like it's a great. Like I said, I've only played episode 1. I'm gonna get episode 2.
And I hear they
like,
get
within the next
better,
few
which
days.
is the weirder part. And I hear that, and I like the art style of it. I like
The
the
art
way it
style's
fits.
great.
And,
Cel shading,
yeah,
man.
it's really neat. I wish there were more things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're actually doing one based on the Fables, the graphic novels, the Fable stuff.
Yeah.
Telltale's doing one on that next.
Really?
So down with that.
Cool.
So
All right, so we're going to go to break, do your thing, we're going to do our thing, and when we come back, we are going to discuss the premiere. So, go. All right, everyone, welcome back. We're going to continue talking about The Walking Dead, and we are going to talk about the prison, where they've switched locations from a barn to a prison.
Now they're in jail.
Now they're in jail.
It's awesome.
All right. So who? I guess we can delve into the episode specific parts of it here in a second. But overall, Andrew, did you like the episode?
I really liked it. I mean, there were some parts that were kind of slid on. I was, like, looking at my watch. Like,
I said
waiting for the next one.
overall.
Okay. Yes.
just
Overall, I
kidding.
really liked it.
I'm just kidding, dude.
Overall, I liked it. Yes.
Very
good.
No, I enjoyed it. Again,
Wait. No, I enjoyed it. Did you like it? No, but I enjoyed it.
No, I enjoyed it.
What he means to say is he's not sure.
I enjoyed it. Again, like Andrew said, there's some parts that I guess we can discuss the legitimacy of, but overall,
Why are we discussing the? Okay, never mind.
No, we need to discuss the legitimacy of a few things, like how Carl's still alive, really.
Josh will spit his beer all over his MacBook.
Hey, remember that time Carl
Wow.
got shot and we were all a little bit excited?
Talk about it. That was my favorite episode.
Yes. All right, Neil. Did you like it?
No.
Okay.
Oh, we don't care.
I was doing exactly what you asked. I was
Yeah.
answering the question.
All right, and
Your opinion doesn't matter anymore.
yeah. All right, so you can
Josh,
wait.
how about you?
I liked it. Overall, I liked it. There were things about it that I'm like, yeah. But
Did you like the no dialogue opening with grunting and stuff?
No, I actually really did like that
Me too.
opening, like
I liked it better
without
when they
any
talked.
dialogue.
Yeah.
It was,
I was like, this would make
I
it
like
Wait,
when
how'd it go
she
again?
pulled out
Got-
for the eye and then just the. And
Oh,
then-
they just ran around. They were like running from house to house, but they weren't
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about everything, which was good to me because of the way the last one ended with them just being like,
Yeah.
"No, Rick's in charge. Everyone
Right.
else just shut up and do what I say." And they seemed like
It-
they
it-
were working together in a way that seemed more
believable.
It felt like they had a plan.
and it
now.
worked.
It felt
But
like they
at
had-
the
it was
same time,
working.
without really saying anything, you could and that was I was kind of like, how are they going to pull this off? And you could, I still felt like there was still tension
Yeah.
amongst the group, and
Right.
but they didn't have to be like, man, Rick's
Or-
still being an
or
asshole.
When Carl was trying to eat dog food.
He's like, "What are you doing, dude?
like,
Come
"No."
on,
But he didn't
Carl,
say-
you can't eat dog
He's
food.
kinda
That's for
grunting.
dog.
Yeah.
Get in the house,
But Dad, I'm in the house. Like, get out of the house.
Go sleep in the dog house.
Carl."
Have human food in the dog house.
Is his name Carl or Coral? Because Rick keeps calling him Coral.
But again, the first thing I did notice when I doing the opening was I was like, okay, this person's alive now, that person's not. I kind of forgot who the blonde chick was again. I remembered she was like one
Yeah,
of the
a
daughters
sister or
or
something.
something. Yeah, totally forgot all that.
One of the things
Future zombie bait.
that I
You mean Carl's love interest.
It's
I
so
liked.
creepy.
I guess to me, what was the time between the finale?
28 days later.
It's a. They said they've been going all winter, so I guess like
So
a season. I guess
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. So I guess one of the things that I almost 28 days later. Wow. So I guess never mind.
This podcast is
I guess that means I was gonna just move obnoxiously slow. It's 28 days later.
I like that movie.
I did. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Killian- Killian Murphy was pretty good in that.
His
Yeah,
penis was
wasn't
nice
good.
with that. Okay.
That was Joshua Nathan Carlin, ladies and gentlemen. Let that
But
be
no,
known.
one of the things that I had said before the premiere that if they killed everyone else and kept Rick, Glenn, and Daryl, it would be a
They
much.
killed every female and the kids. That's all you have to say.
It would have been a
true.
much more that would have been a much more effective group. All right.
Yeah, they would
But
last
then
a
at the
lot
end,
longer.
but at the end of season 2, Herschel kind of shows that he's a fool with the shotgun. So like, but then,
Dude.
but the first thing, one of the first things they did was it's like, all right, now everyone in the group seems to be serving some kind of function.
Yeah.
To where I'm like, okay, well maybe they're not all dead weight at this point. So I like that. I also like how, they gave Carol a rifle, which was strange, but I also
But they did have that
but
line
it was-
back.
That was
Right.
good. That was useful. To
well,
me.
how it was like, but she like couldn't shoot that well. So at the same time, I was like, okay, well they understand the fact that this is strange. And then
She
the-
did
there
pop
was the
that one
whole-
shot off that almost hit Rick. He was like,
Right.
"What the hell?" Are you
And then
doing?"
there was that
like, "I'm a
conversation
girl."
that her and Daryl had, where she's like,
I'm glad they did that.
Let's
conversation.
fool
Yeah, I
around.
think so.
Said,
Let's
let's
fool
fool
around.
around.
Just like-
Yeah,
yeah.
that was fun.
it's like we
yeah.
acknowledge
liked
this
it.
is a thing,
And it was
I
done
liked
right to me. Like that was a more believable way to do that.
Well, and it was,
liked
and
it.
to me, it showed that like her character has gone through a emotional transformation that we didn't necessarily need to see.
Right,
And so I'm glad it's like, okay, well, we get where it's at now. So that was the really kind of the main thing I was glad about. Is they're just like, I'm glad that if you're in the show now, you have to serve some kind of. And
Yeah.
T-Dog was more.
He was
No.
he
He
really.
was more what? More T-Dog?
Well, I'm saying, but he didn't. I feel like in
muscle.
a lot of parts in season 2, like, all right, we're gonna go out in the woods. T-Dog, stay back with Carl.
Stay back and do some laundry.
Yeah. Whereas this time, it's like, all right, T-Dog's
Like
gonna
T-Dog, you've been to jail before. Help us out.
Well, I
That's
just feel like
racist.
at least he was. I feel like he appeared a lot more in this episode than a lot of the other characters. Like he was actually
Yet
taking.
still served no purpose.
That's fun.
I felt like he. I felt
Everybody
like
else
they could
didn't
be.
really serve a purpose either. There's a lot of characters that didn't serve a purpose.
So
Zombie bait.
Oh, and I like Herschel's beard.
Oh, that was what I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
favorite
yeah.
part
Like
of
Herschel's
season
beard.
3 is
It's like a-
Herschel's beard.
Looks like a-
That beard, I kept thinking.
No,
I was
no,
like,
No,
yeah,
he looks
yeah.
so much cooler now.
I
Like a
absolutely
hobo
like
Santa
Herschel's
Claus,
beard.
man.
Yeah.
Awesome. looks awesome.
Hope he stays around.
So
with a beard.
Oops.
The new mysterious
Yeah, because
character
isn't she
with
one
the
of your
samurai
favorite
sword.
characters from your comics?
She is the best character in the
I
entire
hear that she is the
comic book
coolest.
series. She is the coolest character to come from the Walking Dead universe. It's her.
I think she looks
And I'm
stupid.
so excited. I think you
That
look
is racist,
stupid.
Neil.
I think she looks really stupid
Oh
in
my
the show.
god.
No, I don't think she fits the show, but I'm sure she fits the...
And that's the point.
Yeah.
Because once
Does
the
she
the
fit?
season,
The
the
sword,
season finale,
the sword was a little awkward for me.
right? That's the point. The season finale of season 2.
Yeah.
When you
Whenever
see her
she
in the
showed
cloak.
up, I was just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this show is about to just take a complete 180. It's about to get crazy, and it does, and that's the point of her character.
Good.
And she's just
I would
fun
actually-
and different. And
I
it's
think I would like
awesome.
that,
She
honestly.
has a samurai sword.
See,
like,
and
come on,
I don't like that. Like, I kind of like the more...
you'll like it.
I'm gonna
You'll
let
like
it grow
No,
on me
We'll,
before
we'll
I
talk
feel
about
like-
it at the end of season 3.
Okay.
You'll be like,
Then that's fine.
I've changed my mind.
My only other notes that I had before we got to her was, seriously, call her stupid. I hate their kid. I don't want to see Carl ever. And that was all I wrote before that.
What about the silencers they randomly obtained?
Oh my god, they were like...
They look like megaphones?
Yeah.
Actually, we can't talk about Carl. Literally, when he was, like, they were letting him run into rooms first with a gun and, like, I was just like, why would you do that? Like, why is this happening? Like,
I felt like I would much rather him do that than sit and cry, honestly,
That's
because
true.
that's all he was doing in season 2.
he
Was
still
talking
got his
about,
little... He still got
no,
his...
mom! No, mom! Sophia's alive! And then he goes and emotes in the barn
It
for the
still
rest of the
says-
season.
Took only 37 minutes into season 3 before Carl says, "You're kidding," and starts complaining about shit again. So, I marked that down. I
I'm
was
glad
like,
you
"Stop,
timestamped it."
Dumb. Yeah.
And then Rick was like,
Coral.
"You're the man while we're gone." Carl's like, "Oh, okay,
Oh,
I'll stay
okay.
then."
I can stay with that.
Because
What
I'm just
lie
kinda
can I
like, don't
foster?
think
How old is
right,
he? Like
exactly.
seven?
Seriously,
Like-
you didn't think that was weird? Is that not supposed to be some type of like weird, not like romantic?
No, like, because like
yeah,
Herschel
that-
comes in,
that
he's like,
was-
"Where's your room, son?"
But then he
Right.
smiles.
Yeah.
And
No.
yeah, he
But
smiled.
but
when
no,
I'm
no, there's something weird there. How
I
old is
agree.
she?
That's what I'm saying. She's like, what,
Yeah.
15, 16?
16, something like that, and he's like 10 or 11.
So it's perfect.
It's awkward.
It's
So
definitely
it's
awkward.
legal.
Definitely awkward. One of the things that I want to ask you about, and don't,
Spoiler
I guess you
alert.
don't have to go into details about, I guess,
There's no reason to
refrain from specifics, but I believe that they cast a character called the Governor for this season.
Yes.
And isn't he a
Yes.
pretty...
You can see him
Yes.
in the previews, right?
I don't watch
Governor-
previews, so I don't want to hear too much.
Yeah.
about
Like
that,
in the-
but-
The
But
governor.
But I hear a lot.
um,
I just know a lot of people were excited for his character.
I'll just say that there's a point in the comic books where it just opens up and just goes crazy, and I'm hoping that's what will happen in season 3. Like, 'cause
How many
the first two
episodes is
seasons are
season
kind of
three?
just like character
Season
building
13.
and them getting to know each other, and then I think season 3 is just gonna go blow up. I think with the intro of Michonne and the governor, we'll just
I think
blow the
that's a good
show up,
thing.
and it's gonna be amazing.
what's her face end up with Michonne again?
She was in the
Michonne
woods.
found
She's in the
her.
woods,
That's
'cause-
what I-
because
that's
They-
what
You guys didn't
bailed
have
on
any
her.
questions about why Michonne is carrying around those two
Oh, I
zombies?
actually-
with her?
I
actually
did, but I
I know.
assumed that they
got
were
spoiled
going.
for me too.
I
I was
assumed they
hoping
were
they
going
were
to
gonna
answer it.
I was hoping they were going to answer in that episode.
Yeah,
but
I
they
mean,
did.
I mean, I can make
It's really
I already
assumptions, but I,
knew
Yeah.
why.
I don't know, but I made assumptions. I guess my thing is like, and I was almost kind of wondering
I
because
like
I
how
know
they
like
had backpacks on
with her
carrying her stuff.
with
That's
her
great.
character
Pack mules.
and with
Yeah.
like
Baldur's Gate.
with the governor and them kind of like you said opening up this world.
Yes.
I was almost wondering if they're like if that's why they prolonged season 2 is because they're like we want to start this on its a whole new season.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we kind of have to fudge to get to that point.
Probably.
And I'm wondering if that had something to do. And ultimately we won't know that until the end of season 30. See what they do with it.
The
But
governor is.
So,
I won't say
Did
anymore.
you like the riot gear zombies?
I thought that was a good
I
twist.
actually
That's a
liked
big.
the riot
That's a
gear
big. That's a
zombies.
big.
Okay,
thing too.
let me
Yeah,
tell
Riot
you
gear.
about. Let me
that
tell you
was
about.
definitely a oh crap.
My-
I was like, yes.
I want to talk about my favorite part of the season premiere is after they
I know what you're
fight,
talking about.
where he pulls the
Yes!
mask off and his
The
face comes off
skin
with it.
comes off with it.
This
Yeah.
is so perfect. That was
God.
everything that show was
I
about.
love
was
that.
right
Even
there
after
in that-
all the stuff they've seen, even Rick was like, ugh.
yeah, in that like 10-second,
He's like, oh,
15-second
shit.
Carl,
clip.
come get me a washcloth.
God, they
That's
get
like-
back in the house.
That's like what that show is about. Is like these grotesque zombie
Yeah.
scenes, and like it was so perfect.
And like I think T-Dog came up and grabbed one by the head and pulled his head back, and somebody like, grabbed a knife and
Yeah, they, like,
jammed it
shoved
up
it
Glenn
there.
took, or it was Glenn took the knife and,
Yeah.
stabbed
He's
him.
like, "Ah." That was
and then like,
great.
well, Maggie figured, I was like, well, we got to give her something to do,
Yeah.
since she's like in like what like ribbed t-shirt,
Yeah.
super karate gear now. Like,
Right. Exactly.
I do.
It's +2 to agility.
What do you? I'm curious. What do y'all think about? So in the middle of the episode, they kind of had that moment where they sang that song,
Yep.
and it just kind of calmed everything down. Did you like that?
Yes.
You know,
I liked it.
Yes and no, I guess. I don't know. I thought it was a bit superfluous, honestly.
Okay.
It didn't necessarily need to be there, and it just
Well, I didn't need to be there, but do you
A lot
feel
of
like
half the
it added
characters don't need to be
anything?
there.
Carl. I don't know, not really, because Rick was still like a dick the entire like episode,
Right.
Which is one like he was just like a dick to everyone. Like even when people tried to like
But I think
not
they
be a dick to him.
Didn't they set that up in this end of season 2 that's how that was going to be?
Well, yeah, but it doesn't mean he
Yeah, he
still
literally
has to,
said, "This is no longer a democracy."
Yeah, but like
That was
he
literally
still
the line.
doesn't have to just like go around being like Dick Grimes like
It's ridiculous.
Officer
Like-
Grimes, Dick Grimes.
So I mean, like they finished singing the song, and Herschel's like, "That was beautiful," and Rick's like,
We need
"Go to bed."
What did you think about it?
Did nothing for me.
I think for me, I kind of liked it because there's actually the version that they have on iTunes right now is obviously different from the show. It's very beautiful. But to me, it was kind of like all this stuff's going on. They've massacred all these zombies. They're in the middle of this. And they're just like taking a second.
Can we rewind for a second?
Yeah.
To that zombie massacre scene because I kind of liked that them clearing out the courtyard and stuff.
Yeah, I had mixed feelings about that because I did actually kind of like that, even though I was bothered by the fact that everyone's a perfect shot or
Right,
pretty
yes,
damn close to
exactly.
perfect. But yeah, I mean, I did like the scene of them.
I do like how they
but
pulled him to the fence and
Yeah.
stabbed him in the face. Like that was
Yeah, they all
a
worked
lot.
well, and it was shot well too.
Yeah,
yeah.
So
Well, I think what I like is that it's just kind of like, all right, it's been a certain amount of time, and they've developed strategy. So hopefully we can
Sure,
start
yeah.
kicking more tail now. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
let's get past this. But I think for me, the song was like, it kind of drew everyone in, and I was kind of like, this is a nice pause in the middle of all this disaster. And then of course, I was actually kind of tense because I was like, I bet Rick's going to say something and be a dick. And to me, it just kind of showed how far off the deep end he was. But I don't know. I thought it was a nice little 30-second, 45-second pause, and the song's really, really good.
it is a good song. Yeah,
But
this
Yeah.
is the most I've thought about it.
that's true. Yeah.
fair enough. So before we talk about the way that the show ended, did anybody have anything?
Oh,
that
of all time, I like it. The ride gear stuff, awesome. So everyone liked that.
Yeah.
Makeup's cool. Violence is still fun.
What about when Lori's all like, "What if the baby rips me open?"
Oh, that was a cool.
That's
I
a valid
I
thought.
liked her talking about that, just in general, though.
Because,
about,
like,
you need to
if-
put me down, if not, either way.
Right.
But
Because this can go like so many different ways.
it's
Like
Twilight.
it could be like stillborn inside me, therefore it comes back to life and just like rips me apart, turns me into a zombie. I come
valid-
after
Which I
you.
can
valid
understand that
Like-
being a worrisome
Yeah.
factor.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what? No.
Like
Yeah,
and
that's
or
kind of
like
the
if
thing in the
she
comic
dies
books.
giving birth to the baby, she can come
And
back
she also
like
doesn't even, the whole thought about bringing a child into the world isn't something she's like super thrilled about
right,
anyway.
right, exactly.
I thought it was a great moment when they're discussing this, and Herschel's like, who doesn't give a shit about this? The kid. And the reason that was great is because Herschel would have never said something like that in season 2.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was
Yep.
that shows
Bearded Herschel.
Bearded
That's
Herschel
The
with
beard
that,
of doom.
with
He's
that
a-
profanity laced tongue.
Yep.
The bottle.
Yeah, and the beard.
He's gone to the drink, son.
He saves it in his beard.
He's sleeping on the couch now. He's like, I can't sleep in these cells. Does somebody have a couch? Yeah. But no, back to the right gear. I thought that was a cool little addition. A cool little like.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
That
like
was
their,
like
A very useful addition.
their
Absolutely.
tactics didn't quite work at that point, I guess. So
No, it's like we got to readjust quickly.
yeah.
Does anybody have anything else they want to add before we talk about?
I guess
Being in a prison is weird.
yeah, I guess leading up to the idea, like the ending that
But
happened.
once it's cleared out, it's
when
a
they were in
very
those
protective-
corridors and stuff,
Yeah.
that was very well done.
That was
is
scary.
That is tense.
that was freaking scary.
Yeah.
I was like,
And that
oh,
was one of the things I was talking about earlier, just in terms of like the way that they only lit it from the flashlights.
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought that was really well done.
But it was also smart because they have like Glenn like spray painting which way to go and stuff. like that.
Right. Yeah, and I think it just showed like with them shooting in the courtyard and the way they moved through the courtyard in a team.
Everything was. I liked the way everything was showing that. Like they were
Yeah.
working more together as a team and not dumb.
Yeah, and I thought, like I said, I really liked the spray paint.
Yeah.
Something I was also thinking was they were like, "Oh no, we got to sleep in cells," and I remember how that I could see immediately how that was off-putting. But at the same time, it's like if zombies were attacking you, and you shut that door, they can't get through that.
Yeah.
Also,
At least
you have
can,
a
like,
bed
you can
now,
sleep comfortably
so-
because the gate they can't get in there.
Right. So, and I thought that was like honestly, I would at night I would get in there and close that door shut.
Right.
And I would feel safer probably than anywhere else I had ever felt
And
safe.
they
Yep.
have keys. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless something
Leave
breaks,
Officer
you get stuck forever and you die.
Dick Grimes to lock him in, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what about Herschel getting bit
Oh man,
and the subsequent leg chop?
dude.
Makes
that
sense.
was brutal, like straight up brutal.
And I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say I think that's
It was a
smart move.
It was, but it was also a great ending to a great welcome back to Walking Dead episode.
Sure, yeah. Like here's some more gore for you to
Right.
hold you over till next
And
week.
the thing I liked about it was the extreme lack of hesitation on Rick's
Right.
part
Yeah.
to do it.
Right.
He was like, bit, okay, tie the leg. Pop, pop,
He's
pop.
like,
You know,
let's
where
try
before-
something.
He's like, I'm
Just to
saving
see.
your life.
Before he's
But
like, well, we can't cut his leg off because then.
I mean, it could be a plot. I mean, it could be a plot device too for later on stuff. Like,
Well, I'm sure that it is, but I'm just saying, like, I really like. I mean, I felt that showed a lot about his character.
Right.
That he was just like, tie it up and cut
Yeah.
it. Let's go.
Yeah.
this ain't a democracy.
I was kind of glad when Herschel got bit.
You know,
Well, I
Herschel?
knew it was
I
coming.
don't really like Herschel. I didn't know it was coming.
Well, I didn't know it was coming, but I assumed whenever
I
he
see, yeah,
ventured off
exactly.
by
I
himself.
saw that.
I
As
thought
soon
it
as he's
sucked
like-
that it was the doctor that got bit. I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
oh
why I knew.
no,
That's why, I mean, yeah.
oh no.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. That was kind of fun seeing though, watching the axe just go up and down like that. It was kinda
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, dude, and
That was kind of.
It's good stuff.
and then of course now they've addressed.
And not just that though, but even the bite itself was like pretty.
Yeah.
intense
I mean,
looking.
they've. I mean,
Oh,
they're-
where they showed it tearing the
Yeah.
Achilles.
Yeah.
that was bad.
Mm-hmm.
That hurt.
That's like, what was it? I saw the devil.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh, bleh.
Oh. So yeah.
If you haven't seen that movie,
Messed
go
up.
watch that movie so you can know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I feel like, and then I like how they ended with showing the prisoners.
prisoners.
Human beings.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I kind of feel like maybe the theme of this season's. I know the tagline was "Fight the dead, fear the living," and I feel like a big theme of this season is going to be because we were talking about how they were in the bar, and I haven't read anything on season 3, so I don't know. But in the bar, you talking about how interesting it was, like fighting between people, and I feel like that seems to me like it's going to play probably a bigger
I think
part
that's
in
what
this.
all the books are about though, more than the
Yeah.
zombies, right?
That's
It's
the
more-
whole-
It's
that's-
more about
that's-
the people.
yeah,
that, yeah.
Right,
That's the whole theme of the
People
comic
are
book
shitty.
series. Is
Yeah, and I feel like that,
live people are more of a threat than the zombies are.
Right.
and I mean, because the zombies, you know what the zombies are going to do. People are like,
Yeah.
How about that new intro, like with Daryl, how they have the arrows now for Daryl. And
Yeah.
they finally, like, all of season 1. So Norman Reedus is the guy that plays Daryl's part. And all of season 1, he was like guest starring Norman Reedus. Because like, why is he guest starring Norman Reedus? And then season 2, they finally put him like at the end. And of course, now he's got like his own little arrow
Yeah.
graphic. And although I did like the broken pictures,
Yeah.
I don't know why they only did that for those characters, but whatever.
I don't know. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I liked. I like the filters and stuff they use in the title. I like the music. I love the music. It's a good kind of dystopian title.
I guess I just wasn't overall. I just wasn't like super thrilled with it. I don't know why. I just wasn't like I guess I was expecting more for some reason. I don't know.
I guess to me it was more like, because I know season 2 caught a lot of beef, and I knew that going
Especially on their premiere. That nail biter. That was a really bad premiere.
That was better.
Okay,
than
you
that
have to.
one.
Yeah, you have to say
I
it.
can
It's
say that.
better
It's
than
better than
season 2
2's
premiere.
And so I think to me it was like, all right, because I know that before season 3 premiered, I had read a lot of people who had read the comic wondering, like, I guess like whenever they invaded the prison, like if it was going to be graphic or how they were going to do a lot of that stuff. And I think it seemed to me like they were just like, no, it's The Walking Dead. We're throwing down. We're going to have a lot of killing. We're going to have a lot of this going on. And then we're going to set this up. And I feel like that's a lot of what it was because the second season was so
Boring.
yeah. And then this season was just like, the premiere was like, go.
They got
go,
into
go,
it,
go.
like,
Yeah, there was a lot of action. There was a lot of that stuff. I just didn't feel like. I guess there wasn't as much of that. Some of the drama that I do like. It just was more just a lot of action. I didn't really feel a lot of anything during the whole entire episode.
It's because Shane's not there.
Right. Lori didn't have enough dialogue. Right?
Yeah, really.
She'd have enough time to make bad decisions.
Right, that's true. Maybe that's what I didn't like about it. No one really could make any bad decisions. So,
Oh no, that double-edged sword there.
Except for Herschel.
well, yeah, turned
He,
left.
yeah. He left the group.
That's true.
Or maybe it's because they gave T-Dog some more screen time. That
Oh,
just
yeah,
kind
that
of threw
was
off
it.
the balance.
Rachel
Yeah,
should've
he
stayed
like
on
3.5
the farm.
more seconds.
That's racist.
But anyways, does anybody have anything? I mean, I'm looking forward to season 3.
Me
Yeah.
too.
It's
I mean,
weird.
I'm looking for it. I mean, I like The Walking Dead.
I think it's a better setting than we've been. And
I think there's a lot you can do with the prison.
Yeah.
A lot you can do with the
And
prison.
I'm looking forward to new characters and stuff too. More interesting characters than just like we're on the farm.
See, and I'm like, so I'm kind of like, I don't know where I fall on that if I'm looking forward to new characters, because I kind of feel like there was already a lot of characters before and I didn't like half of them.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like
So-
useful, interesting characters.
Oh yeah, hypothetically. I
introduce-
guess.
Not like Jimmy, I drive a bus or something. Like
I drive an RV, which ultimately
Cleveland
amounts
bus
to
driver.
something that you can
Gonna
jump
uppercut
on,
you.
and then I'm dead. That's why I
Bus
exist in
driver.
this season. But I think I'm excited just because, like, you know, you've said it, and I've read from some people who've read this far in that this is kind of like the favorite part. Some of their favorite parts are in this segment.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that.
Yep.
So
It's gonna be good.
so
I mean, it seems like a cool setting, honestly. Just like a prison, like
yeah, but then they're going to do a lot. I'm kind of interested to see, because like you said, I was kind of with Neil, and that the whole like fighter samurai thing was almost like, I was like, this seems kind of far fetched, but
That's
you know,
the point.
Yeah,
Oh,
but,
that's the point.
but you've said, and I know that you are very critical of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So unless it's Batman, and I'm kidding. Yeah. So
Batman's a
I'm
ninja.
interested to see where they take it. And I'm actually like gonna watch it week by week this time. I think I'm gonna try. We'll see.
I think the show works good watching week by week. At least the first season for me did, and like parts of the second season.
First season definitely did.
As a type of like water cooler type show that you can talk about,
Yeah,
like, and things
definitely.
like that. I think it works well for that.
Yeah. And I also think that AMC understands that's what it is.
Yeah.
So with like they've done a lot of stuff.
I mean,
on
this show
social
keeps
media.
getting bigger and bigger. Like, I mean, I see people all the time talking about this show who I never thought would be like.
I thought you meant from a budget standpoint.
Oh, that too. I'm just talking about as far as fan base though.
I
Like,
really like the collector's the collector's edition, like the DVD Blu-ray box set of the zombie head. Did you see that with the
Yeah.
screwdriver in it and stuff? I like that.
Do y'all want to read the comics at all?
I absolutely.
yeah,
do.
I'm gonna go home tonight and start reading.
But would you
'Cause
want to
I've got-
would you want to pass up the point where they are on the show?
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, I probably would. Like,
Yeah,
would do
I
that,
mean, it's
especially
just-
since I know they do deviate at some
Yeah,
point.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I actually have them on my iPad and I had started. And
Yeah.
I like it so far.
I was actually gonna
Steal them.
Borrow
have a combo with you,
It's fine.
and I'll be sure to mess them up and then offer to buy you new copies. Of them.
Shut up.
I still haven't even
nice.
seen. Dude,
I'm a nice
that's an
person.
inside joke. We're not gonna have that conversation. All right. So does anybody have anything else they want to add?
I don't think so.
Happy Halloween. I don't know.
I mean, will we meet before Halloween?
We might.
Yeah.
It depends on how y'all's Horror Fest goes and everything.
Yeah. So that's a
It's a
big
timing
thing
thing.
that I feel like we for sure need to have a podcast on horror films.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every year we have a
I think it would be good to have one after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Discuss
in
all
general,
the
just to
movies
talk
and
about
stuff.
all
Yeah.
yeah. We've talked about different ones that we could do. I just think horror films are always a fun point of discussion, especially since.
Should we tell people what Horrorfest is? We keep alluding to it, but
Right, yeah. So basically, me and my old roommate used to throw a 5 nights, and it kind of became 6 nights, where every night we had a theme night, and then we'd watch 2 films. So we'd have like foreign film night, or zombie night, or alien night, or something like that. This year, John Michael's going to help me run it, and so we're going through the nights. I think we're going to do 6 nights. So anyway, so 2 different movies every night. So yeah, good stuff.
so hopefully we'll have a podcast on that once we're through that, I guess.
Yeah, and then
We'll
so
figure something out.
yeah, cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. Let us know. I want to know what y'all thought about the season premiere of The Walking Dead.
I think we've reached a bigger audience here with The Walking Dead. I think there's so many more people out there right now who would have opinions and thoughts on this. So let us know, I guess, because
yeah,
I mean, I know we talk about video games a lot, but I know a lot more of you probably watch The Walking Dead than play a bunch of video games.
that are planning to buy the Wii U. So,
yeah, exactly.
Oh, Neil. Probably not as many people that like Banjo Kazooie.
If you're interested in buying a Wii U, though, you should talk to me about it.
Because Neil makes commission.
Or she's just go play Banjo Kazooie. All right, guys. Cool. Let us know. Thanks.